Shoot, come on. All right, and we are recording, so we're good. Everyone can see what we're doing. We have our oil pastel technique worksheets here. Try to keep them on both cameras so at home and here can see. So like I said, you guys can use any colors you want for this activity. Oil pastels are extremely messy, I know. They're going to get on your hands and fingers, and you can wash your hands later on. It's not a big deal. And then when you actually make your final projects, what I like to do is I put a clear coat over all your projects. So once I spray them with that clear coat, they're good to go. You shouldn't be able to like scratch colors off. It makes a nice painting or project. Oil pastels are super fun. I love them because they're really easy to blend, kind of just like paints. Besides the mess, you can do a lot of different techniques with them, and the colors are just super fun and vibrant, so it's nice to have them. The first one we have, after you put your name on, make sure you put your name on your worksheet if you haven't yet, so you get credit for doing this, is strokes with light pressure. So just taking your oil pastel and kind of gliding it across. You're not pressing down at all. There we go. Try to use a different side. You're going to see that it's got some texture to it. There's like holes between the color. It's not solid. Then strokes with heavy pressure. So this time you're going to press down harder. You're going to notice the color is more vibrant, more solid. Fills in the gaps. You don't want to press down too hard. These can break. If yours does break, not a big deal. Some of you probably already have broken pieces in your box. Just keep them. They still write. Broken crayons still color. Same with oil pastels. Next is blended with light pressure. So I know blue and red shows up really nice on both my cameras here, so I'm going to use that. Using light pressure, so you have a lot of texture. I want you to fill half the box. Normally you start with your lighter colors. So for me, if I'm using red and blue, the lighter of the two is red. And I'm going to go a little bit more than halfway. Ooh. And then we have the darker color. So with the darker color, I'm going to overlap again. Super light pressure. Just overlap that red a little bit. You can already see, for me, it's starting to turn purple in the middle there. And then you can always go back with your light color and add a little bit more. Since that dark color kind of takes over, you can use the lighter color as a blender to get them to mix better. You can always add more darker color, of course, if you need to too, but that lighter color needs a lot more just because that darker color covers it in. So I'm starting to get purple in between. It's looking pretty good. Sorry, the camera is not the greatest here. Let me try to move this one. We'll get closer. Wrong way. This way? No. Ha! There we go. That looks good. Next is going to be blended with heavy pressure. So this same thing, you want to start with your lightest color. I'm pressing down pretty hard. I'm going to do the same with my darker color on the other side. Where it overlaps the lighter color, you kind of want to lift up a little bit less pressure. And then you can use that lighter color once again to blend. And they blend really well together, just like paints. What's what? Oh, that's the baby oil. Yep, we're going to be using that later on. For those who are at home, I did not send home baby oil, so you guys, if you have some, fantastic. If you do not, you'll have to work without it. So it's just one technique you can't do. But you are still expected to do the projects and everything else. It's just you can't use the baby oil. All right. Highlights with white. So again, you can choose any color you want. And then if you go over that with white, for me it's going to blend and start making a pink. But you can use that white to make a color lighter. Oil pastels kind of work the same way in watercolor in the fact that, like, to get your whitest whites, you have to either leave the page white or you have to put that white oil pastel down first. So I can't, like, go back and get pure white if, like, I want to put my white over my red. You're not going to have a pure white again. It's just going to keep mixing and blending. So you kind of got to plan out your whites again. The next is shadow with black. So once again, just put your color down. Try to add some black over top of it, but when you add that black, go a lot lighter. Very light pressure, because black will just cover it up otherwise. So I just added a little bit of black. Now I'm going to take my red again and blend that in. So I can blend it nice and smooth. Now it looks almost just like a darker red. It's not just solid black. Shouldn't just be solid black. While you're working with the oil pastels, you probably already noticed that as we're blending colors together, like my blue oil pastel has red on it. You can always wipe them clean. Just grab some paper towel. You can get the paper towel with a little bit of baby oil too and really get the color clean if you like. Or you can just wipe it on a different piece of paper or something too. So I could just get rid of the black on my red so it's nice and clean. Especially when you're working on your final projects, you're going to want them nice and clean. The next one is a super fun Italian word, sgraffito. Sgraffito of the paper is when we put down our oil pastel nice and heavy. You guys can use your nails. You could use a pen cap. I also put some paper clips on one side of your table for you, so you can bend one of those. Just like we did the watercolor sgraffito, we scratch the paper. You guys can scratch away oil pastel and make some fun designs. You shouldn't have to break through the paper. That oil pastel should just come off. Nails are great too, I know, ladies, but I know you don't want oil pastel probably under your nail. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get out. I get that. And that's a way you can kind of make some white again. But it's never going to get perfectly white. So if you want something perfectly white, you got to plan it out. Oh, there we go. Those are some better lines. The next one is sgraffito with layering. So this is when take a color, something not brown, something a little bit lighter than black. Like brown's not going to show up very well. Red, orange, purple, any of these nice brighter colors will show up great. Push it down really hard. Get a nice layer. Then take a color that's either darker than it or black. Black is always the best option. Layer that on top of it. Hard, yep, cover it up. So my red's gone. And then when you scratch away lines this time, you should be able to see that color underneath. So for me, I have some red lines poking through. I know, fun, right? So you can also sgraffito with layering. Alright, and then we have stippling. Stippling's great. You're going to have a lot of practice with it in your first little assignment here for the oil pastels. Stippling is just when you are tapping and making a bunch of dots. You can tell when everyone's working. It's great. In 6th grade? And it drove you guys crazy, I think, sometimes. But some of them turned out so beautiful. So another way to layer, like with the stippling, so I did red on part, then blue, and in the middle I let them overlap. And when I step back, it kind of starts to make a purple. So you can layer. You don't even need to like mix colors when you're doing stippling. Your eyes kind of do it by themselves. It's really cool. Don't worry, we won't be doing all that we did in 6th grade again. Your project's not just stippling. Stay hydrated, guys. Alright, the next one, feathering. It's when you have really light strokes and you're just kind of getting less pressure as you go on. So heavier when you start and then you lift up and it kind of fades away that line. So I'm just trying to pick up ever so slightly. It takes a lot of control. So start off with like a heavy pressure and then just start lifting up gradually until it disappears that line. And now it looks like I have a firework on my page. This is all red, white, and blue. Very appropriate too. A little bit of black, but. For that next one, we're going to start using our baby oil so you can open that cup up when you're ready. Does everybody have a Q-tip? Or anyone need some? We did a you need a Q-tip? Okay. We only did like a very, very little, like quick half-a-day project with a class with these boxes so far, and there's only like 8 of them in the class, so it's a very small amount got used, or should have been used already. Next one, so blending with oil. You can use whatever colors you want. I'm just going to stick with my red and blue. I want you guys to try to, a little bit, kind of like a medium pressure. You don't want to press down too hard, but we're just going to blend these like we did the ones on top. First, just using the oil pastels. So I am trying to make a little bit of a nice purple there. I can again use my lighter color to help blend together. And then once I think I have it blended pretty nice, I am just going to dip my Q-tip in the oil. Just a little bit. It doesn't need to be like dripping or anything. And then you can rub the colors together. So this kind of turns all those oils into paints. The more oil you add, though, the color does get a little bit less vibrant. You can always add more oil pastel on top. You may have to wait for it to dry, but it only takes like 5-ish minutes. So it's kind of fun. You can paint with it then. You can always go add some more color. So I don't have enough red. I'm going to add a little bit more red. Your Q-tip's gonna get dirty. Yes, these will get tossed. We'll add more to your boxes as needed. Oh man, I got a really good one. I feel like this technique gets used the most in our projects because everyone loves how smooth it is, and I don't blame you for it. Because it starts to look beautiful. For the next one, just try some different colors. You guys can use whatever you want. So if you want to try with the white or try with the black to blend colors together, you can. You could do 2 different colors all together. Get creative with it. So I'll do green and blue this time. So my green is the lightest color here. It's a nice lime green. I'm going to do the blue and go over that a little bit. I'm going to use that green once again quick to blend them all together nice and smooth. Maybe get a little bit more blue. And once I think I have a really nice blend, I'm going to go back with the oil. How fun is that? Those are beautiful colors together. We're going to make a value scale, so you need black, white, and then any color. I'm going to go with red because it shows up the brightest, I think, on my camera. So when we're doing a value scale, our lightest color is going to be that white, so we're going to start with the whites. I'm going to make sure mine's clean because it still has some color from my last one. You can either rub it with your hands, you can clean it on your paper, however you want to get that white nice and clean. We're going to start heavy pressure with the white at the end of our value scale and start lifting up a little bit less pressure. We want to go kind of like 1/3 of the way. I went to about right here with the white.
Can't see it, Scott.
You can't see the white, I know. It's invisible.
Almost like it's as wet as the paper. It's crazy.
But if we put that white down, it's going to make it a lot easier to blend now. So we got to put it down. Then I'm going to take the red, heavy pressure like right in the middle. I'm going to start fading as it gets into the white area, so less and less pressure. And then I can use that white to help me blend it together and get it nice and even. So I start with white and it starts to get lighter all the way to, or darker all the way into red. If you want to go over these later with the oil, you can. Or you can keep them just with using the, like blending with the lighter color. That's up to you. If you hate the oil, don't worry, you don't have to use it for your project. And if you love it, you can use it a lot. So then the same thing. I'm going to go like a little bit heavier with my red. That black's going to cover up the red so easy, so I'm just going to fill it in almost all the way. Then when I do that black, just going to make a little bit black. I'm going to go super light pressure over the red for a little bit because that's just so dark. And then I'll use that red to help blend them all together and make it nice and smooth transition. And if you want to use the oil, you can. You do not have to. That's up to you. This worksheet, once you're done with it, you can just make a pile on your tables. I'll come and collect them all. I'm going to show you guys the sketchbook assignment, so those who are ready can get going on it. There's only one sketchbook assignment for this unit, and then we're just going to get going right on our projects. If you hate oil pastels, it is a shorter unit, so don't worry. Yay. And if you love them, I'm sorry. It's all right. Are they your favorite, Cade? Oh, I thought you said, like, never mind.
It's okay. Don't have to say.
My bad. All right. So your assignments, then. Are you ready? It's really cool looking, just saying. Your second assignment. Make sure this is on the board. So clearly if you did this with us today, you're going to get your 10 points. Woo! Awesome. I know.
Do it.
You need to make a color wheel with 6 parts using only red, blue, and yellow. So only the primary colors, but you will add the colors in between by stippling it. This is all stippled. Beautiful. So like red and blue combined, if I step back, this looks more purple. The yellow and blue combined will make my green, and the yellow and red combined will make an orangish looking color. So all stippling. Then you will find a photo. You can use your phones, you can use a Chromebook, whatever you got, of a fruit. And you are going to do a whole stippled project of that fruit, showing me highlights and shadow areas. When you're doing the shadow areas, try to use other things besides just black. So for example, I started with a dark green base, then I put some browns in there, and then I also have some, a little bit of black, just to really make it pop, but not a lot. Yeah, so this is the whole assignment. This is just done on printer paper. For those at home, I sent you some printer paper as well. And yeah, I will leave this on the board so you guys can see it. If you have questions, please let me know. I will put a pile of printer paper on the edge of the table up front here for you guys if you are ready to keep going with the oil pastel unit. And if you need to work on watercolors, the rest of the day is yours. So have a great rest of the day.